Okay, so once we know, we can use the list to store a collection of the items. So we should be able to travel each of the items using a loop. So this is a way we can just using the loop. For example, we're using for loop. Second. So for you give a instance variable name. So flute. So right here you can using any name for the item in the list. So but in right here you need to make sure you have the list name, right? So since we're using the flute, because we already defined the flute, so this is a variable name, instance variable, which could be any of the items. So once you do that, you print the flute. Right here is the flute is instance variable. So once you do that, you should be able to print out. All right, you print out any of them. So the for loop also can be used for the tuple. All right, so we have a color. So the tuple name for the color is colors. Then we print out color. So would be like this. All right, so this is a loop. So now we will talk about the two-dimension list. So two-dimensional list, that means this is a list of the list where each sublist represents a row. Okay, so how do we define it? Okay, we using the way it's very similar to the list, but we have the nested list. Okay, so that means we, for example, we have a matrix. Okay, give a name matrix. We have a square bracket. In the square bracket, we have the different item. So the first row would be 1, 2, 3. Now, comma. Then we start with second row. Again, it's a square bracket, 4, 5, 6. Then we have a next one. The third row is 7, 8, 9. All right. Now we define this. Okay. So once we define this, we can try to print out them. So you can see this is the list. This is a two-dimensional array. So again, two-dimensional array, you should be able to access. You can add it. You can redefine it. So how do we do? Okay. So it's very similar when we how to access the each of item using the index, but the difference is because it's two dimensions. This is you can look at them as a table. So this is the first row, second row, third row. This is the first column of the first row. So if you understand in that way, so you can try using the matrix bracket. So the first one would be row. Okay. Again, all the indexes start with 0. So the first row would be 0. So now I select the first row. Now, which one I trying to access? The first, second, third. If it's third, the index would be the 2, right? 0, 1, 2. If it's 2. So if I enter this, it should return 3. All right? So everyone you could try. So if I trying to access 5 right here, what do I need to do? So 5 is located at second row. Second row index would be 1. 5 at the second column. If the second column would be, the index would be 1. Now, if I enter, it would be 5. All right. So again, you can once you can access, that means you can change as well. If I try to change 5 to 10, I can do the same thing. Then I try to print out them again. You can see this position change to the 10, right? So since we can try to we can using the loop to go over every item. So for this one, we can try row matrix. Now we're trying to access item in the row. Then we print out the item. So each of them will print out. Okay, so the very important part is you nest another for loop into here. So this one first will travel the row. Okay, the first row, then in the first row you have a different item you print out. Once you print out in the end of the line, you go to the next for loop you're trying to access. Right? So this is basically how we do, the two-dimensional array. And we can do something else. If you're trying to copy one of the list, we have two ways we can do. The first way we create, for example, flute. So we already have flute. So we're trying to say flute copy. Then we assign the flute to this one. Then I trying to copy. I trying to print out the copy again. So you would see it right there, right? So what if I change the flute? I say I want to change the flute, so the first one to the apple. Now the flute would be apple, right? How about the copy? Would it be, again, would it be the same one or would it be different? Right? If you change the flute copy will change at the same time. So they are, related because they only pass, pass a reference. Okay. So what if I want an independence list? So if you want to use the independence list, I can create. We can use the one copy second. We can use the method copy. Okay. So flute copy, maybe just flute dot copy. Now we can try to print out this second. Okay, so if I try to change the original flute, let's see. The apple, I want to change back to orange. So now if I print out the fruit, okay, the first one would be orange. Then independent one. It should be the same right there or there. It should be the same like apple, right? It didn't change anything because it's independent. All right, but so the fruit copy, which is not independent, it should be orange. Right?